Hey, everybody. Knock, knock. Who's home? Big G from Ohio. How's it going? Dragonette. Hey, Sherry. How are you? Hey, Bohica. I'm whispering. I got a little secret to tell everybody right now. Ellie, hey, thanks for being here. Guess where we are? Oh my goodness. Soaking it in. From the Western Slope right on. Hey, hey. Yeah, so hey everybody. Yeah, Rebecca, me too. You're worried? Yeah, me too. So I'm whispering, kind of. Hopefully you can hear me, right? Can everybody hear me? Yeah, I'm a little hoarse, but it's all good. So for everybody that was watching yesterday, good, Rebecca, you can hear me, awesome. You saw what went down with learning that my husband's license had been suspended. Yeah, we're dealing with that right now. I got a baby in the back seat, and he's currently sleeping. He might wake up. In all the things we do in our lives, we always try to help people. We're currently helping a young couple that's trying to launch a small business in the world of government control over COVID scamdemic. Young couple that got a baby, and we're babysitting. Well, one of us was supposed to be babysitting, but now it's both of us because my husband can't drive, right? Because this place called the Denver Police Department supported a little tyrant by the name of John Shaw to abuse the system. Besides his badge, I mean, who would have guessed? Who would have guessed? So anyway, after yesterday's big blowout that you saw along I-70, we managed to make it up to the property that we were going to, and I did manage to have a meeting, a slight meeting, a little meeting with some realtors on that property. So all is fairly good there. However, on the way back, we got caught in a bad snowstorm on Berthoud Pass. Because we hadn't planned to be up there that long. We knew there was snow coming in, but when snow hits the high country here in Colorado, you don't want to be on the roads. And we were on Berthoud Pass, and I was driving, of course. And guess what? I got my first lesson in the new truck in a semi-blizzard on Berthoud Pass with my husband in the passenger seat. Yeah. Marriage is interesting, I'm just going to say, okay? It's just interesting. It was a complete revenue stop. So here's what happened, everybody. We were able to schedule a hearing at DMV because, you know, DMV is so functional. You know, the Department of Motor Vehicle Revenue Collection Scam. Don't even get me started on DMV, okay? Bottom line is, the system allowed us to set a hearing for him today at 1:30, and we went. And guess what? He doesn't get a hearing. Imagine that. There's just nothing the DMV can do except print him the letter that they supposedly mailed to him back on August 25th after it was noted in the system, according to DMV, that one officer, John Shaw of District 4, entered an incident report to the DMV requiring him to retest for his driver's license. Who knew a cop could do that in the state of Colorado? I never knew this. It's like red flag legislation. Like they can rip your license from you or rip your guns from you and then try to prosecute you. Yeah, we have those systems set up in government. Oh my God. I mean, who knew, right? Who knew government could be so corrupt? Have I cussed yet? I'm not supposed to be cussing. Baby's sleeping. So please slap me if I say a bad word. So anyway, we go to the hearing at 1:30 and learn from DMV that John Shaw entered the request to have his license stripped from him. He has to retest written, driven, and vision to get his driver's license back. Or the officer must resubmit his incident report. This is unreal. This is unreal. So we're at the Denver Police Department Administration Building in downtown Denver. And I got mail from the UK, Alan. Imagine that. I've been telling you over the past few streams, I wanted to thank you so very much. I don't know how I got your mail, but we just didn't get the letter from DMV that stated he had to retest to maintain his driver's license. And if he didn't, it would be suspended, canceled, suspended. Here's what we also learned. We learned that charges were not filed for that traffic stop until September 21st. The traffic stop happened on August 22nd. We think the reason those charges didn't get filed, according to the DMV, they suspended his license in September. Then that real smart, honest cop by the name of John Shaw then filed the traffic charges. I'm telling you right now, Denver, you're in bad shape. It's pretty obvious how corrupt you are. So here we are. My husband is taking a day off of work. You know, that's not how homelessness starts. And people wonder why I defend the homeless to no end when it comes to dealing with PIGSs. This is why. Because they also destroy their lives. And then they don't have the means to put the pieces back in the puzzle that the tyrants have removed permanently. Luckily, we have the resources right now to fight this. Okay? Yeah, we do. And we can, yeah, you bet, we can afford to lose pay from our jobs so we can fight the tyrants. The homeless cannot, because it has to do with whether or not they can survive that day. So they have to pick and choose their battles. And when they get buried by tyrant PIGSs, there's no hope. Okay? I'm the top 3 most underrated police accountability activists, in my opinion, let alone all the homeless outreach she does. Wow, big props. Thank you, King X. I really appreciate that. And, you know, I do know a lot. There is a lot in my head, and I have accomplished a lot just by the simple activism that I do. It's not my goal to make money off of it. It's not my goal to do documentaries. People tell me write a book. I don't have time because there's all kinds of things to deal with. And right now, for whatever reason, the universe placed us in front of John Shaw, who had, remember, by the way, fired 12 rounds into a man who's now dead. Out of 100 and what was the count on that report? 110 rounds had been fired at an officers involved shooting there in District 4. Yeah, John Shaw was one of those cops that fired 12 rounds. We're lucky to be alive. Really. We understand that. I understand that. I've been assaulted by cops. I understand what they're capable of and what they get away with. Okay? So there is a big universal reason that I do what I do. And right now, apparently, the focus has to be on taking this dirty cop down. Okay? This is unreal. So the DMV did inform my husband that John Shaw was, in fact, the officer that filed that. So now we know. We kind of thought that we weren't going to get to the bottom of that, but we have. So my husband is currently in the administration building right now. He's giving me updates because he is going to give their command staff the opportunity to do the right thing and immediately submit or recant the incident report that's requesting him or telling or ordering or whatever the word is to retest for his driver's license. Yesterday when we left that traffic stop, you remember that supervisor came out and said he was going to take a notch out of his ID, at least so he had his photo ID, because he also flies a lot for work. Well, that cop was such a honest fella. He had decided to cut the scan part off of the very back corner that TSA uses to scan the license, so his ID won't be valid. So he's going to be in a world of hurt we are going to be in a world of hurt if he can't make his next trip for work. So he wants to give them the opportunity to do the right thing. Is there a reason stated on the report for why he needs to retest? No, none. Apparently, any cop in the state of Colorado can submit an incident report to the Department of Motor Vehicle requiring any person with a valid driver's license to retest to maintain their driver's license. Who knew? And what makes this even worse is this cop obviously plays this game often. Who else has he done this to? And were they able to fight it? Did they win? Did they succeed? Did they ignore it? Did they give up? Yeah. This is some serious business, folks. Look, I don't advocate for violence, but I don't wonder, okay? I don't. And I don't want people advocating for violence. Showing up at their homes, celebrating when they're ambushed and killed on the streets. I don't wonder why people celebrate that in this country when that happens to law enforcement. I don't. Because these people have that fast to destroy or end your life. And they're doing it to people every day, all day long throughout this country. Oh, and it's just a few bad eggs, everybody. It's just a few bad eggs. And they should be held accountable, but they're not. They're absolutely not. And that's why people are resorting to violence. And it is a sad state of affairs, and it's going to increase. I don't know what's gonna happen in this country as law enforcement continues on this track. I have no idea. Since when can the cops run the DMV? Apparently, they just find those little loopholes. Our DMV has some of the worst, the very worst loopholes in process and procedure to absolutely destroy people's lives. I went through this with my son, my youngest son, over a bogus, deceptive cop who had him charged as an adult with a DUI for partying at the school while his keys were in the ignition of his car. Long story. But the bottom line is, the reason I am so heavily involved in calling out dirty cops all started with our children, because the cops would get caught and all they could do was punish the parents. Well, now that our kids are grown and they can't go after our kids, they know they're going to have a hell of a time taking me down. They're going to go after my husband because he doesn't do this for, he doesn't do the activism piece. He just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time with me that day. And it is because of me that it happened. I get that. And they are doing this to him because of me. So they want to destroy his life, his ability to work, to fly, to live, all because of the mighty driver's license. Yep. So he's texted me and said that he's waiting in line. There's nobody at the window. So he's just continuing to wait. He's debating on whether or not to request to talk to somebody in internal affairs and then go from there to command staff. He doesn't know. Um, but the bottom line is he needs his driver's license now. Now. So DMV says, you know what, sir, you have no choice. You have to schedule an appointment online like you did today for a hearing. We don't know why it lets you schedule a reinstatement hearing, but you just don't get to have a hearing today. So yes, you must retest. You have to schedule that appointment, go online. That's probably, I'm guessing, a couple months out for a complete driving test. Okay. He's going to have an invalid driver's license until he can pay DMV $95 and take off another day of work. Let me think about this one. How do people become homeless? Well, they lose their job. They can't pay their rent. They're up to their eyeballs in criminal prosecution or criminal persecution via process, and they lose everything they own. How did someone find themselves in homelessness? Not by the system, not my government. Government doesn't do things like this. No, people, go fight and win. Oh, we're gonna win. Trust me, we're gonna win. Lose your job, can't afford to fight. Yep. Where do you get a public defender in this process? You don't. It's an administrative process. You're back so soon. I'm doing this live stream. What's going on?
We'll talk about it when you're done.
Okay. Well, I'm going to mute this for just a moment. Okay, I'm back. He's back in the car. Go figure. There's no command staff anywhere in this building. None. But there was someone who eventually helped him that was very helpful for a next step and confirmed some things for him. And so we're going to see how this next step works out. And we might go live again. So we are on the quest for his driver's license to immediately be reinstated, Denver Police Department. So you probably should make that happen just as fast as you possibly can. Okay? Since we now know your officer, John Shaw, confirmed by DMV, was in fact the officer that did this to him. So I'm going to end this stream for now, and I'll do an update video or maybe another live stream, but that's what's going on for now. And go figure, there's no command staff anywhere in the administration building of the Denver Police Department in downtown Denver on a Thursday afternoon at 2 p.m. to help the general public.